welcome back to another episode of Live With. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is our 2021 IFBB Toronto Super Show runner-up in the Men's Open, Quinton Eriya. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, how's it going, Dave?
Hey, I think we interviewed you 2 years ago, right, when you were in Classic Physique, and we said, man, and I even told you what a structure you had, and you had told me you were going to go into the Open division, and I said that's a great move, and you really have grown into that Open division, and I thought that this was your best look ever on stage. I thought that you delivered the goods, so to speak, at the Toronto Super Show, and a lot of people thought you should have won the competition. First of all, what was your outlook on how you looked? Were you happy with what you brought to the stage, and what was the feedback you got from the judges?
I was happy with what I brought to the stage. I thought I looked the best that I've looked so far. I didn't get to speak to the head judge. From my coach did. From what he told me, I believe that I just fell short because I didn't have certain density or hardness in the upper body, and I lacked muscle maturity in certain areas. One of the other judges that I spoke to, he didn't really say anything bad, so it was. but yeah, so I don't know. But as a bodybuilder, I could always be bigger. I could always be harder. Sure. I could always have better stage presence. Yeah. So it's got to be better.
I mean, 262 at 6'1", whatever you are, pretty close to that. I mean, that's a really impressive look on stage. Plus, you have such small joints and waist, and so it looks like it's 280 really. But I understand what the judges are saying. They're saying that they want to see more muscle maturity from you. And I kind of, when I was doing my wrap-up, I kind of explained that when I was competing back in the day, I was like 268, before anyone was on stage. And I was getting the same remarks from these judges. They were like, well, we know you're the hardest guy on the stage. We need to see more muscle separation. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? But, that just comes with more training is really what it amounts to. Yeah. When you bring a look like this to the stage, now you started in Classic, obviously, and a lot of people, said this is a guy who can go into the Open. You're only 26 years old. You're still in your peak growing years at this point. Are you, I know a lot of guys want it. They want that win. They want to go to the Olympia. They want it all now. Are you kind of comfortable with where you are and the progression you're making?
I mean, I'm always motivated by a win. It's a lifelong dream of mine to make it to the Olympia stage. Right. But, falling short just gives me more motivation. And I love competing. So it just means I got to go back on stage and do it again and come back better, Right. So I love the process. So I really don't mind.
Whose physique do you kind of look at and say, that's what I want to look like? Do you have an image in your head in terms of what you see your physique emulating?
So I was natural in 2017. I was natural in 2018, and I turned pro in 2017. I was still natural. Right. And I was watching a lot of videos of the 90s bodybuilders. I was seeing Kevin Levrone, right. Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, and I just loved the look. I loved how they looked. I'm like, I want to be able to recreate this look, when I looked at them. So, Ronnie was my biggest motivation. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to look like Ronnie, but, something along those lines.
Ronnie didn't win his first Olympic till he was 33. So, I mean, you got a long way to go still, my friend.
Yeah, I got some time.
You got a lot. You're ahead of the game, if anything. When you go to the gym, are you a guy who lifts super heavy? Or are you a guy who does more, repetitions? I mean, what works for your physique?
I think both works, both of them. I work with a trainer, Big Mike Van Wyck. Oh yeah. And his methods. It's funny because I think from his training when he was an active pro, he was training very heavy, and there was a couple injuries that he got from that. Yeah. So he has an approach that's a bit more volume based, but it's still very intense, very short and sweet. It's very specific. He's a mastermind with this stuff. So that training has really been good for my growth. But also heavy training when I'm on my own, that works too. So it just depends on how I feel or who's around when I'm at the gym.
Well, no one's getting legs like you have without doing some pretty seriously heavy squats, I'm sure of it. That just doesn't happen, from going into the gym and doing reps.
The funny thing is, my legs just respond to anything.
Oh, really?
My upper body, it takes a lot more for me to grow upstairs. Mm-hmm. But my legs, it doesn't matter what I do. But I do train hard, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it could be like a high volume legs, it could be heavy. It responds so well.
So you're the kind of guy that we all hate. In other words, your body wants to grow, is what you're telling us. Are you a guy that has to eat a lot of food, or are you pretty much like a skimpy eater and you just body responds?
I think I just need an adequate amount of food and I'll see good results.
I hate you genetic freaks. No, so in other words, how much protein do you eat a day? Do you even figure it out? Do you calculate?
So, no, I don't really look at any of the macros, but I'd say if I were to break it, so let's say about 6 ounces of meat for 6 meals. Yeah.
That's not a lot of food, yeah. And what do you do, 6 times a day?
Yeah, 6 times a day. But in the off seasons, I narrow it down to 5 meals.
Oh my God! And you still grow. That's why your waist is probably so small.
The problem is I can't digest that much food. I've tried the whole force feeding thing. Yeah. I grow, but also the problem is when I gain too much weight, my skin, it takes forever to get my skin thin. So when I compete, I look like I'm fat.
So in other words, you look better if you stay leaner in the off season, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
I tell everyone, look, you got to know your physique, and you have to know what your strengths are, and you have to know what your weaknesses are. You obviously grow very easily, but getting in shape, you have to work hard. So it doesn't pay for you to gain too much weight in the off season, like you're saying, because it's just too much work to get yourself down and thin that skin out. So
exactly.
That's called intuitive training. That's called knowing your body. And you really have the best of both worlds, because you don't have to jam an enormous amount of food into your body to grow. It grows. You just have to probably suffer more than most people do to get in shape, correct?
Yeah. So this, and it's funny because we really suffered heading into the Romania show. Mm-hmm. And then we looked at our physique, me and my coach, we looked and we realized the upper body, nothing was popping. It looked really soft. People were like, oh, your upper body's not in shape. I'm like, man, I'm in shape, all right? So we actually increased food going to Toronto. We were eating a lot more, and that's why the look was better, because the muscles were alive. So now it's I got to suffer, but I also have to have enough food so that, things are still popping.
You got to fill out. Also flying over to, Romania probably wasn't, something that worked well for your physique too. Some people hold a lot of water, and a lot of people, and people don't realize this, they get dehydrated on those flights. And I think that's what happened to you. I think you were so dehydrated that your muscles just got really flat. Now, the Toronto show's in Canada, that's where you're from. So, that had to be a lot easier, I would imagine.
I never thought of that, but that's very, very possible.
Yeah. The longer you're on an airplane, the more fluid leaves your body. The problem why people think that they get bloated on airplanes is because a lot of times from sitting in a seat too much, and the water kind of goes down to their legs. So they see their ankles are swollen and they think, oh, I'm dehydrated, let me take a diuretic or let me restrict fluid. And that makes it worse because it's just a redistribution. That's why if you ever hear Kevin Levrone talk about when he would fly, his secret was he would always get up and every hour he'd walk around for 20 minutes on the plane, driving everyone crazy, but doing it purposely to make sure that fluid wouldn't settle in his lower body.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that in mind next time.
Yeah, I remember he told me that on an interview I did with him once, and I was like, he's like, people think I just was everyone was like, Kevin, get away from me. We want to sleep on the airplane. And he's like, I was doing it because I was trying to move my body around so that I wouldn't be holding that water in my legs and my ankles. So, but awesome. Yeah, you got to hydrate on the plane too. A lot of people don't like to do that either because they don't want to have to get up to go to the bathroom every hour or two.
Oh, but it's so annoying.
it's a whole strategy, It's one thing, like if I'm going to Australia to cover a show, I'm not competing. It doesn't matter. I won't drink anything the whole flight because I don't want to have to get up to go to the bathroom 60 times. But if you're competing, you have to stay hydrated because you're eating every 2 hours anyway. So I think that's the key. So what's planned for the 2022 calendar?
My coaches brought up a couple ideas. One of the ideas was doing the Arnold's. One was, my idea was initially just take some time off, put on a little bit of size, and
Right.
come back in the summertime and qualify for the Olympia.
Right.
We'll do the Olympia. But it all depends. I don't know if I could get an invite to the Arnold's, and I don't know if it gives me enough time to improve.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm pretty open to anything, but yeah, I just like to compete.
Do you find that you get better as you're dieting? Like some guys actually grow into a show. Are you at that stage where you're finding that you're putting muscle on while you're getting ready for a competition?
I find I grow I find I can grow when I keep competing. However, this break, because I'm obviously off now.
Right.
I don't know how it's gonna be with having a break, because it's not like I did a show, I'm doing another show, I'm doing another show. It's like there's a break, there's the holidays,
right?
And then I would have like 8 weeks. So
I would recommend maybe doing like New York Pro or Tampa or something like that, and then hitting the Olympia. This way, you have some, like you said, you have some time to grow and recover and stuff.
Yeah,
you're only 26.
I like that idea. I like that idea too. I want to be able to come back with a different physique.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I mean, it wouldn't even. I mean, to be honest with you, even if you waited like till the very last minute to like I said, to Tampa, and then qualified the last minute. Although the Olympia next year is in December, so I think probably you could even wait even longer than that if you really wanted to. I guess
Mm-hmm.
But I think another 7 pounds of muscle on your body, and you're deadly on that stage, for sure.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. That's the goal.
What opportunities have come your way in the last year or so since people have seen you start to really, make great progress and show promise as being, a future Olympian for sure?
I think, so last year at the New York Pro, I feel like I shot the bed a bit. I came in off, and I was, criticized. Oh, I was criticized, and rightfully so. So I feel like people kind of wrote me off. They kind of wrote me off, and it motivated me. And this time, I think after Romania, people were like, "Oh shit, he came in shape." So people started taking me serious again. And after this one, I feel like people are really starting to see me as a threat for bodybuilding in the future. They see me as a future top guy. So I feel like, I mean, obviously there's certain companies that hit me up and want to do some sort of partnerships.
Right.
But I'm just sticking with the companies that I work with right now.
And that's what RXMuscle and Iron Bull.
Yes, RXMuscle.
Yeah.
Iron Bull Strength and Prep Shop. My food.
Well, that's good. You seem to have all your bases covered, and hopefully we're going to see you on that Olympia stage at the end of the year in 2022. I know you got a lot of opportunities to do that, and obviously you're not afraid to get on that stage. I think you have the kind of physique that, like you said, the more you compete, the better you'll get from show to show.
I would actually like to do several shows in the summer. Like if there's a couple shows in America, I would just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
If I could win 2, 3 of them, I'll win 2, 3. I'll win all of them. And
there you go. That's a good attitude to have. Very good. Now, do you have any? Did you have any limitations with COVID and everything like that? I know there was a lot of closures in Canada. Did you have problems getting to a gym or training at all?
The biggest thing, so Dorian Hamilton, my coach, he has him and his brother Noah Hamilton. They have a gym. Right. It's in the city that we live in, so we've been okay with training.
Oh, that's good.
We would have people from the city come and pester us every now and then at first during the lockdown, but it's been pretty good. Canada's been a little iffy with their rules have been really annoying.
Yeah.
So in order to leave the country, we all have to be double vaccinated and all that stuff. But we covered all our bases. So
did you guys have to sneak in the back door of the gym when no one was looking, when they went on lockdown?
Something like that.
I figured, just
something like that. Cover the windows. So
I told people all the time when the lockdowns came and people were saying, "Oh, you can't work out. I missed 6 months." I'm like, when I was bodybuilding, I would have found someone somewhere with a gym that I would have been in their basement training or something like that. I don't know how a bodybuilder cannot work out. There's got to be a place where you can find where there's someone who's got equipment in their house, right?
There always is. And the people that really wanted to make it happen, they found somebody.
Absolutely. Look, if you could find steroids, you could find a freaking gym to work at it. It's not like they're gonna shoot you if they catch you working out.
No, it's not. It's not that serious.
Yeah, I don't know, but Well, I just want to congratulate you. You look great. A lot of people thought you deserved to win, but regardless, you're a guy now on people's minds. People see you as a future threat, and I think you accomplished what you needed to do here in 2021, and we're looking forward to seeing you in 2022.
Thank you so much. 2022, I'm coming for 2 pro wins.
There we go. And that's going to take us, guys, to the end of another episode of Live With. I'm Dave Palumbo with Quinton Eriya, or as he calls himself, Quint Beastwood. We'll see you next time.